Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. We are coming off of the Coca-Cola 600 as Kyle Larson picked up his second win of the season, and he has been on an absolute tear recently, now retaking the regular season standing lead over myself. Him and I continue to kind of go back and forth. Who's going to be the one that comes out on top? Part-time drivers in the field. We got James Davison actually for Project 91 and Trackhouse Racing this weekend here from Martinsville, and as well Lane Riggs making another start for Front Row Motorsports there in the number 36, as we are ready to take this Sirius XM Toyota Camry out to the potential front of the field this weekend here in Martinsville, the site where we picked up our first win of our NASCAR career. And we had an announcement this weekend as well. Unfortunately, not a good one. Meyer Shank Racing has announced this weekend that they will be closing their doors at the end of this season. And they've only, of course, been around for, well, this will be, their second full-time season in the career mode, and they're already pulling the plug on their NASCAR operation. Some unfortunate news there, but that means, another team could buy a charter, maybe another team could slide in. Austin Cindric's future now is certainly uncertain. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, unfortunate news all around here as we enter the Martinsville weekend now, as it always sucks to see small teams cave in the long run. I think small teams are a great addition to NASCAR, and we still need those small teams now. It's not all about powerhouse teams. As we come through into qualifying, though, on Saturday afternoon here, and already a mistake there through 1 and 2, just running really tight around the apex now as we roll into 3 and 4 for the final time with a 20.015 as our goal. We exit turn 4 to the line. It's going to be a 19.847 P11 here in Martinsville, so not too bad, but a little bit of work certainly to be done, as on pole position it's Ryan Blaney, the Road America winner, with William Byron, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano still in need of a great run in the top 5 here. Eric Jones rounding out the top 10 as you see the rest of the qualifying order as we go down the screen. Shane Van Gisbergen, Carson Hocevar, Heim, Bowman, and Cole Custer there, all wrapping up the top 25. Sawalage, Eckes, Nemechek, James Davison, Cindric, and Josh Berry for Colleague Racing at the bottom of the grid here coming into the Paperclip weekend. Truck Series was in action as well. Frankie Muniz actually picked up his first win in a while, holding off Daniel Hemrick and Stephen Malozzi. Brent Cruz in the top 10, same for Cam Waters, of course, the Supercars star, as you see the rest of the finishing order come up on your screen. And it's currently Riley Herbst at the top in the playoff grid for the Truck Series. Xfinity action, it was Taylor Gray winning in New Hampshire, where the Xfinity Series was this weekend, over Justin Allgaier. Rounding out the top 10 there was Kyle Weatherman, and as well you see the rest of the finishing order for that series. And Brad Perez currently at the top in the playoffs over Gray, as Perez has 3 wins, 2 for Gray. Now let's get ready to go Cup racing in Martinsville.
Short track racing. We're ready for good old beating and banging here on the Paperclip at Martinsville.
I was able to pass Dale Jr. here late in the race back in 2011 to go on and win, which was the first of a few times I passed him late in a race for a win that year.
Right, boys, one here before. Let's try to do it again with this team here in Joe Gibbs Racing. We got the resources to do it. We've got a great car. Let's have fun.
Yeah, 10-4, mate. Let's stay after it today.
So, ready to roll here from Martinsville from P11. Austin Cindric crashed during qualifying. He goes from like 39th to 40th now in the grid as we are ready to roll. Right behind the 98, Mahindra Tractors machine of Chase Briscoe. The green flag is out, and we are racing here from Martinsville now. Kyle Larson been on an absolute roll in the recent episodes here. Darlington was in fantastic fashion, dominant fashion. He of course had that tire failure, and that was what opened the doors wide open for Chase Briscoe to come in and take the win, although Briscoe had a very fast car as well there, and he's looking pretty good early on here in this race. 27 laps in stage 1. It's Blaney, Larson 1-2. How about Logano's? I'm actually beating on the bumper of Kyle Busch's Quaker State 99. New scheme for him made by Paj Designs again. A banger from him, actually based off of Daniel Suarez's car that we saw in Atlanta. But Right now, it's, like I said, Blaney, Larson, Logano, the top three. Logano was looking really good in Charlotte, but unfortunately that awkward time caution, well, we ended up seeing, of course, strategy and cars getting put a lap down, 2 laps down even, and Logano unfortunately never recovered and got a pretty subpar result. But here he is again, having a solid result, or solid run. I mean, we are a long ways from the finish here in Martinsville, but Logano is certainly in need of good runs if he wants to make the playoffs, and what we know now is his final season of full-time Cup Series competition now, as Ryan Blaney, leading the way, continues to, like I said in recent episodes, be in the rumor mill, and if Ryan Blaney ends up leaving Penske, that could change everything for even Joey Logano's plan. So there's certainly some uncertainty right now at Penske Racing, but Ryan Blaney, another driver that's really stepped it up recently. He's had a solid season, but he has really picked things up in the last few races, winning at Road America, just overall been strong everywhere we go, and that's how you win championships. Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota have certainly been making gains as well. Ty Gibbs, defending Cup Series champion right now, running up inside the top 5. We are moving forward up the inside of the Valvoline Chevrolet of William Byron, and that 24 car will pass him for P7, bringing the Honda Civic Trackhouse #1 of Chastain with us. But now we're beating on the back bumper of the 98 of Chase Briscoe for RFK. Keselowski continues to try and lure us to that team. Now as we've got a crash, and that's the 23 of Bubba Wallace there, and that's going to bring out our first yellow for cause, and there's the replay. He just had a major tire failure and goes crashing, and that's going to be yellow #1. Sawalage getting a piece of it as well. Nobody's going to pit because we don't have to worry about fuel here in stage #1. So we'll get ready to go back racing here now. Blaney out in front in that #12. Logano just behind. How about Elliott just in front of us now as well? We had a bit of a run-in with him in Charlotte now as we are back in racing here from Martinsville. Now it's only 10 laps to go in stage #1. Chase Elliott showing the nose up the inside, takes it 3 wide with Logano and his Hendrick teammate of Larson. What a move there. And in the background we see more 3 wide. That's Eric Jones in the 34, who's in the bubble picture right now for the playoffs. He's cooking. He's up into the mix as well as we give Ty Gibbs room as we exit turn 4. There's still 3 wide back there. That's Tyler Reddick in the 45, who's been winless for over a full season now. He's in the bubble picture. He's had some rough luck in recent races now after starting the season. Quite consistent and quite strong. Things haven't quite gone his way. We've seen some bubble drivers in recent episodes have some struggles as well. Look at Chris Buescher. Last episode, he had that engine failure, crash. Well, it ruined his night in the Coca-Cola 600. And then we had his crash in the late laps in Road America. That put him all the way down the order as well. It's not been great recently for Chris Buescher. Kyle Larson going backwards. Perfect for us, gaining points in the regular season battle. We pass Logano. Ty Gibbs going to try and follow through, and Larson loses now a few spots to myself. But unfortunately for me, Larson would actually get back past both Logano and Gibbs. Move up into 4th position as we roll through 1 and 2 now. Reeling in that #9 of Chase Elliott. Ryan Blaney, it's going to be a walk-off win here in stage #1. Not even going to be a contest now as we roll through 3 out of 4, trying to find a clean way past this 9. We used him up in Charlotte, so I don't want to use him up too much here today. 1 lap to go on the stage, and Kyle Larson is cooking. He's closing in on me, so I'm quickly realizing that 5 has some good pace now as we head down this backstretch into turn #3. Ryan Blaney is going to open up Martinsville with the stage 1 victory as he comes through to cross the stripe. Elliott second, third for myself. Larson, Reddick your top 5. Gibbs, Logano getting some much needed stage points there just outside the top 5. So that is great to see for Penske Racing as well. Todd Gilliland, he's had some struggles this season. Carruth in the top 10. Eric Jones and Justin Haley as well. That 48 car, Rajah Carruth, is starting to find some more speed as these races go on in his first full-time season. So Hendrick, I know they're going to continue to be patient with Rajah Carruth, and I think it's going to pay off. He's starting to show some signs of improvement early on in his first full-time season now as we gain 1 spot in the pits, overtaking Elliott now front row outside. Here we go. Ready for stage #2. It's underway. It's going to be a drag race with the Menards 12 Ford Mustang of Ryan Blaney into turn 1 in this NOCO 400 from Martinsville Speedway. The paperclip, so much rich history at this racetrack now, and as a Jeff Gordon fan all time, one of my favorite racetracks, of course, the site of his final win in NASCAR NASCAR Cup Series competition back in 2015 in that dramatic race. Now as we're tight on the exit of 4, Elliott clear, Gibbs cuts me a break, lets me up the inside, 32 laps of racing in stage 2, so a handful more. Larson's trapped on the outside of Tyler Reddick. He might go backwards here in stage 2. We gained 1 point over him in the first and opening stage. How many can we gain here in stage 2? I'm feeling quite confident with the pace in this car, but I'm sure Ryan Blaney's feeling even better because he is driving away. Lap 5 coming to lap 6 of the stage, and you can see he has opened up the gap to the 9 and myself. We've opened up the gap to Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick, who are just behind us now as we actually give the 27 a bit of a shot to the bumper here as we roll through 1 and 2. But right now, feeling quite confident, like I said, in this car, and we're definitely quicker than the 9 of Chase Elliott. It's just about finding the actual way around him here without beating his doors off now, or his bumper off, I should say. But I'm getting a little bit impatient, letting the 9 know, hey, I'm faster than you. I would appreciate if you got out of my way. But it's hard in the next-gen car to make these passes sometimes now. And Ryan Blaney is closing in on lap traffic, so we might be able to utilize traffic instead as a tool to work around this 9 car instead of just knocking him out of the way. Lap 13 of the stage, and Ryan Blaney has already run down the Legacy Motor Club rookie of William Sawalich in the 43. Sawalich has had some signs of very good signs of just success in his first season of Cup Series competition, but then he's having a day like today where he's running 39th and not doing so hot. Nonetheless, we are going to continue to roll up the inside here following this 9 car of Chase Elliott now, and he's going to close in on Ryan Blaney. Both of them now actually jumping up to the outside as we look to that left rear of the number 9 down the SPAC straight away. Now, can we get this position? No, because we're locked in behind the Rick Ware 52 of Cole Custer. Now Blaney continuing to try and navigate traffic. Elliott checks up behind the 52. Here we go. This is the opportunity to move through into P2. Can we get Ryan Blaney? About 15 laps to go in stage number 2. What can we do following this number 12 on the outside? He jumps down to the inside as he sees the 28 of Connor Zilish side by side with his Andretti Global teammate there. The pair of Honda, Sammy Smith on the inside now as we cross the stripe side by side for the lead. Suddenly we have projected ourselves into the conversation for a race victory potentially now. All the way up in front of us you can see John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 as the 27 comes up into us and slams us into the outside wall. Blaney trying to force his nose up the inside 3 wide. He backs out of it. Myself and Blaney, we really have nowhere to go. We need to find a way around these guys, but when they kind of gridlock the racetrack here, it's a 2-groove track in Martinsville. You go to the 3rd lane, you're not going to be able to go around anybody because you're just going to go backwards. You're too wide at that point now. We continue side by side with the 12. How is this going to work out in my favor or the 12's favor? Well, out of turn 4, lap 22, actually the 27 with a poor exit, we push Zilish ahead. We clear the 27, dive up the inside of Zilish now. Blaney going to follow through on the inside now as we're all over the back of the RCR rookie of Jesse Love, who's had a very mid-rookie season. We've talked about it. Rookies this season, a lot of rookies, a lot of teams were trying to just hop on rookies before other teams could get them. So they really didn't let a lot of these rookies develop this season, and they are certainly going to have growing pains now. It's going to be a very, really interesting rookie class here now, but we've worked our way into clean air. But unfortunately for me, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, they all follow. Sorry, not Eric Jones, Christopher Bell. As we exit turn 4, Blaney showing the nose, 7 laps to go on the stage, and that 12 car is just got a little bit more than I do right now. And here we go, side by side out of turn 2. He's going to clear us as we roll through 3 and 4 now, and we'll slide back in probably behind him in front of Chase Elliott, who tries to rejoin the conversation, but we still have some lap traffic in front of us here before this stage comes to an end. Blaney jumping to the outside of the Front Row Motorsports 38 of Zane Smith as we slip and slide on the exit of turn 2. The handling starting to go away in the long run. Austin Hill, your Talladega winner, locked into the playoffs with that win just in front now as we're all over the back of the 12. Going to be 4 laps to go in stage number 2 as we go into turn 1. Contact with the 38. Chase Elliott forced it up the inside 3 wide, and we pay the price. Not a huge fan of that move now. We'll get in behind the 9, let him know we didn't like that, actually pushing him into the back of the 3 as we continue this little bit of a beef here with Chase Elliott that continues on from last episode in Charlotte, but we clear him around the outside with 3 to go in the stage now, and Elliott does it again. He runs into the 3, who runs into me. Up the track we go, and Elliott tries to run away with second. Christopher Bell behind in fourth. Elliott getting aggressive now, looking for a stage win, even 1 win on the season for the 9 as we approach the final lap of stage number 2. We're within a couple of car lengths of that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get that position before it's over. Now as we roll through 1 and 2, you can see we've just got more pace than the 9, but we're slipping on the exit now, and that certainly opens up the gap between myself and Chase Elliott. We dive down into turn 3, close but nothing. Ryan Blaney sweeps stage 1 and 2. It's going to be second for Elliott again, third for myself, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs, Joe Gibbs Racing, third, fourth, and fifth here in stage number 2. Chandler Smith nowhere to be seen in the top 10 mix, unfortunately. Another driver that continues to struggle, not a rookie. He's in his second season of full-time competition. Kyle Larson inside the top 10. Carruth and Smith, actually, they were just outside the top 10, so they're still having solid runs as we are all going to pit for tires and fuel. We are going to tighten up the car a little bit because you saw the handling going away towards the end. We gain 1 spot in the pits again. Elliott loses 4. Chase Elliott down to P6 to start the third and final stage. That could hurt him. That might take him out of the competition to win this race. Let's get amped for a few laps here in Martinsville. We're just behind Kyle Busch. Not the greatest restart now. Christopher Bell, he was so close to winning the Coke 600. He won 3 stages, but Kyle Larson, of course, was able to come out on top of that race now. But Bell continues to increase his gap above the, the bubble, the cut line for the playoffs right now. Brad Keselowski, your Bristol Motor Speedway winner, just behind myself. If you guys remember that dramatic ending in Bristol where Nick Sanchez kind of threw a block on me and cost us the win in the last couple of laps. Now at the inside of Kyle Busch, we'll clear him with ease. That 99 Trackhouse Civic, Honda Civic, goes backwards now as we move up into third position. Halfway through this race here in Martinsville, 65, or past halfway, sorry, 65 to go on lap 76 now, and 65 laps in Martinsville, that is not a lot of time. Time is going to run out quickly, but if this stays green for a while, lap traffic is going to play a huge role in how this race is determined. Ryan Blaney now working his way through. I believe that's Zane Smith up there in that 38 Front Row Motorsports Ford Mustang. We are running down our teammate of Christopher Bell. Chastain has joined the top 5. Chase Elliott's gone nowhere. We've gained some crucial points on Kyle Larson today in stage 1 and 2. Elliott, speaking of the 9, into the outside wall. Tire failure for Elliott. Caution's gonna fly, and that is a rough day that started in stage 3 gone worse. Chase Elliott will not be out of the race. Elliott's going to continue on, but he will be starting from the back of the field. Joey Logano now enters the top 10. Kyle Larson P9. Chris Buescher having a solid run. RFK, we've seen all their 4 cars show up in the top 10 here today. Which ones will finish in the top 10 is the big question now, as I can't launch on the restart now as we dive down into turn 1. We're 3 wide briefly. Chris Buescher making it 3 wide on his boss man of Keselowski, and as well on the one of Chastain. Keselowski still has not officially announced retirement. We know what's happening, but we're still waiting on the official word, as he is certainly taking his time and getting it out there now. Maybe he's waiting to determine who's going to be driving that 6 car next season between myself or potentially somebody else now. All over the back of the 20 of Christopher Bell, starting lap 88, will show the nose up the inside. 53 laps to go. Ryan Blaney has been absolutely dominant, but look behind us. Kyle Larson's rejoining the conversation. The number 5 is going to pass the 17 of Buescher and enter the 4th position. This is far from over. We saw how quick that 5 was earlier when he was behind us, and here he comes. Larson is marching his way forward on lap 90, passing our teammate of Christopher Bell. Kyle Larson enters the top 3. Second and third on the track. Run, of course, second and first in the regular season standings. Now we've gone back and forth, and we might be in for another back and forth here on the racetrack now. 46 laps to go, and that 5 is already filling up my meal. clear. My one advantage I do have, however, is we're coming up on lap traffic again, so that is going to allow us to potentially maintain over the 5 of Kyle Larson. We'll wait and see, of course, what happens now as we hit lap 96. Blaney making a pass on William Sawalich, putting him another lap down here in Martinsville. It's a pretty miserable effort for the 43. Caution out again. We slam into the back of the 43 as the yellow flies. Everybody's going to be pitting for 4 tires as well as fuel here now, because you can see it's Rajah Caruth with another mechanical failure this season. He was having a strong top 15 run, and it's going to be day over for Caruth. That one is heartbreaking now. The full-time first season for the 48 driver, it's not been pretty. Chase Elliott was able to take less tires and moves up to the front because he, of course, just pitted recently as we dropped to P4 after the pit stop. So Elliott brings himself into the conversation. Again, my car can't launch because we hit a car after the caution came out. Kyle Larson, what a move there from the number 5. 3 wide into the lead goes Larson. He takes it now, P1, as we go down into turn 3 with 40 laps to go in Martinsville. Was that the move that wins him the race? Kyle Larson getting after it here. He has been on peak form in the last few episodes now. Darlington, Charlotte, of course, with the dominance there. Couldn't win the stages, but he led so many laps and eventually won the race. But now Larson with a move to the inside takes the lead, and he looks to run away, and Ryan Blaney is going to get the short end of the stick after leading, the first 2.5 stages. He's down to 5th, and I'm going nowhere as well. Here comes Ross the Boss Chastain to make a pass on us. We're going to slide in behind that number 1, and now we'll look to potentially follow Chastain past Ryan Blaney as well, move ourselves up to potentially P6, but Larson's running away. That number 5 is quick now as we're all over the back of Ryan Blaney, who's struggling, runs up a car with higher, and we're all over the back of the Menards Ford Mustang. Can't quite make anything happen there with 35 laps to go. Though we're all over the back of the 12. We're going to give him a shot to the bumper, and up the inside we go. Wheel-to-wheel contact there. The 12 surely not going to be happy with that. Down this backstretch into turn 3, I said, I'm sorry, Ryan, I gotta go, bud. We're running out of time quickly, especially if it stays green. We clear the number 12. He goes from dominating down to P7 after Larson's 3 wide move. What a move it was, and that's why I love racing with the AI in NASCAR Heat 5. They are so much fun to go against. Now as we have a crash, the 45 of Tyler Reddick spins into turn 1. Caution is going to fly Shane Van Gisbergen and nearly misses it as Connor Zilish gets a piece of it. Nobody needs to pit for the rest of this race, so we are going to stay out and get ready to go bank racing, and unfortunately that's going to really hurt Tyler Reddick in the bubble situation now, as we'll maintain P6 for this restart. Row 3 on the outside. What can we do as now Kyle Larson is in position to try and run away? Chris Buescher would love to find a way to victory lane, and he is in the mix very much so. Row 2, watch for him to maybe make a 3 wide move on this restart. We're bank racing a little bit over 20 laps to go. That's all we have left. 24 to be exact into turn 1. Larson, no pressure from the 17. He's clear already. He's going to drive away. Now Ryan Blaney going to try and find a way to work his way back forward. Look in the background there. Todd Gilliland's worked his way up into the top 10 picture as well. He's still very much in the bubble picture for the playoffs, so don't rule out that number 2 car now. Keselowski up my inside, Gibbs going nowhere. Now he jumps down in front of the 6 there and opens up a door for myself. Chase Elliott going backwards, Buescher into 2nd, Chastain into 3rd. Does it stay green to the end? We clear the 6 of Keselowski. We'll jump down in front of him behind the 54, actually giving that 54 a little bit of a shot to the bumper. Not what I wanted to do, but it actually pushes him up the inside of the 9, and he'll potentially pass him into turn 1 with 22 laps to go. Blaney up into 4th. Kyle Larson can't quite get too content yet, depending on the progress of that number 12. Also, there's still enough time where we will get to lap traffic if it does stay green. Now as we pass Elliott, now he's on a bit older tires as we clear that number 9, and he's going to continue to fall backwards now, off strategy of course because of that tire failure. Now as we look up the inside of the 54, 20 laps to go here from Martinsville, and we should be able to clear this Monster Energy 54, the defending Cup Series champ of Ty Gibbs. Now as we look now for a move on the 12 of Ryan Blaney, coming to 17 to go. Look at the gap that Larson has built. He is running away, putting himself in position to where if we do catch lap traffic, he is going to be able to put so many cars in between him and the rest of us that I don't think anyone's going to be able to run him down. Busher holding up everybody, I feel like, a little bit now, as we are knocking on the door of the 12 saying, hey, I want to get through into P4. 16 to go, up the inside. Can we make it happen? Actually clipping the curbing a little bit there on the inside. No big deal as we exit turn 2, slipping and sliding. The handling starting to fade away a little bit in the Sirius XM19 Toyota Camry, but as we roll through 3 and 4, we'll clear the number 12, and now up into 4th position. Busher continues 2nd, Chastain 3rd. Both of those drivers winless on the season so far, but both in the playoff picture now. 13 laps to go at this point, and we're running out of time. Larson has put a near full straightaway on 2nd position. Now the number 5 looking to be the first 3-time winner. We've got 3 drivers with 2 wins. Myself, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch. Larson's looking to take over the top spot on that podium of winners now, as we have less than 10 laps to go here, 9 to be exact, and we can't find a way past Chastain or Busher. They got just enough pace to have the good enough exit where the only way I'm going to get up the inside is if I just catapult the car off into the corner. But now things are going to change. Lap traffic is in the mix. Now here comes Ryan Blaney back into the mix as well. We'll swap over to the inside and actually jump back up to the top because that 42 is in the way. I'm going to try and push the 17 around the outside. He can't get the roll through the center of the corner, so the 42 stays ahead as we go down this back straightaway in towards turn 3, giving him another shot to the bumper, pushing him through the center, saying, hey, let's get going, Chris. Nobody's going to run down Larson, I don't think, at this point. We've all gained on him, but we got too many cars to pass, so it's just simply not going to happen. Contact with Chastain. Blaney sent it up the inside, 3 wide now. We used him up earlier, so I'm certainly not looking for payback like I did on Chase Elliott. Now as we dive down into turn 3 again, we're going to be 3 wide, and we are going to be getting the short end of the stick back down to 4th. Blaney to 3rd, and certainly, I'm sure, fuming behind the wheel of that 12. I'm sure he feels like he was robbed of victory today now as we go around the outside of him again, though, looking for 3rd again. Busher just in front now. Larson hanging on, hoping it stays green. No caution is what he's begging for as we go into turn 1, clear of the number 12, and now Chastain's trying to fight back up his inside. He backs out of it. Chastain gets a position now. Can we get Busher before this is over? 3 laps to go. He's going to jump down to the inside, and I'm going to keep it pinned around this 2nd lane. We should be able to get him now with a few laps to go. Larson coming around 3 and out of 4. Now it will be 2 to go, and you can see the 17 can't do anything. I drove it off into the corner right there, but we make it work. We'll clear the 17 for 2nd, clear the 27 up the inside of Jesse Love. There we go. We'll take that position on the racetrack, not an actual position, of course, now, but Kyle Larson has clear racetrack. It's over. Unless a caution comes out right now, it is game over, and that number 5 is going to go to victory lane for a 3rd time this season and twice in a row. It could have been 3 times in a row if he didn't blow a tire in Darlington. White flag is in the air. Over 3 seconds a gap to Kyle Larson as we go into turn 1 and 2 for this final time. What a drive from Larson. What a move on that restart with 40 to go. That put him in position to do exactly this. Out of 3 and 4, Kyle Larson win number 3 and a grandfather clock to the number 5 team. Larson wins in Martinsville. P2 for us as we cross the stripe. What a day. The top 2 in the regular season standings end up finishing 1st and 2nd as Kyle Larson gets to burn it down here in Martinsville. And of course, we'll see the finishing order there with myself being runner-up with Blaney, Busher, Chastain all in the top 5. How about Todd Gilliland sneaking into the top 10 before it was over? Briscoe, Busch, Byron, Logano, Connor Zilish. What a drive from Connor Zilish, getting into the top 15 after we were putting him a lap down earlier in the race. What a drive from him. Eric Jones in P20, and we look at the rest of the order, of course, outside of that top 20. Reddick rebounded to 23rd after that tire failure. Caruth and Bubba Wallace being the 2 DNFs. Looking at the playoff grid now, it is an interesting one. Of course, Larson now at the top, but Todd Gilliland currently is, of course, in that bubble mix. Austin Hill being the last one in, of course. Now, Bubba Wallace being the first one out, but him and Gilliland are not far out, just about 10 and 20 points apiece. Logano was making some gains in the regular season standings. However, Kyle Larson and myself were separated by 16 points, so we did make some small gains. Ryan Blaney brings himself into 3rd as things continue to get interesting. Next episode, it's Texas Motor Speedway. Thankfully, we get it out of the way earlier in the season, but boy, we know what to expect there. It's going to suck. That's going to be an interesting one, as I hear as well we might have some breaking news on the way. We'll wait and see, but I'll see you guys next episode from Texas. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.